you ready to master the waves of medical device product development? Well, wax up your surfboard because you are listening to Inspired by Imua. And here is your medical device product development expert, that Hawaiian-hearted hostess who will help you hang 10, Meghan Alonso.
So on today's episode, I did something unique. I tried it a few weeks ago, and I would really appreciate it if you'd let me know if you like this format or not. I thought it would be kind of cool to mix it up. So a few weeks ago, we heard from several different startup companies. I was at OCTANE's Medical Device and Investor Forum here in Orange County, and where a lot of startups gather, a lot of service providers and experts in the industry gather, and investors are there kind of checking out these startup companies, seeing if they want to invest. So we did an episode where it was input from startups and sharing their journey and giving advice or just encouragement to keep going. And then today I mixed some audio from a lot of the experts that I talked with. There's people in mechanical, software, firmware, engineering. We've got some regulatory, we've got strategy, we've got venture capital. So all kinds of different stuff for you to just listen, get some advice on, see what mistakes they see over and over again and what you can do to avoid those mistakes. So tune in for this. And hey, we've got 2 more weeks left, actually a week and a half left. So it's the 22nd today and 8 days left of the application period for the beta program, Invention Idea to Profitable Product. So what that is, if you have an idea for a product, you want funding, you need funding, of course, but there's some steps you need to know before you get to that funding. So this program walks you through that, walks you through what medical product development is and everything you can do to put your pitch deck together to go wow investors. So I'd love to have you in there. You can apply for one of my free beta spots. Head on over to imua-services.com/IIPP. That's a forward slash thingy. And that's IIPP, like Invention Idea to Profitable Product. And then again, Imua is spelled IMUA. Or if you're walking the dog, if you're at the gym and you're not near your computer, you can text the word invention to the number 44222. So that'll also get you there to fill out the application, and I'd love to have you in my program. So I'll let you enjoy the show and talk to you later.
This is Doc Vu with Device Lab. I'm the general manager there.
Hey Doc, your greatest piece of advice for startup companies in medical device, what would it be?
I would say I see a lot of startup coming in our door, and I think they don't know what they're getting into. They have to know the roadmap. They have to know all the pieces that take to get a medical device to market. People think it's a short road and a straight path, but there's a lot of pieces that need to go into it. And I advise, talk to people who's been there before, to know all the elements that take to get a medical device to market. It's not a consumer product.
Yeah. Sounds like they need my new program, Invention Idea to Profitable Product.
So here's some of the things that you need to think about is intellectual property, there's product development, and the product development has a lot of steps to it. There's proof of concept, there's alpha prototype, there's beta prototype, there's pilot production, and there's the documentation side for safety and regulatory, the design history side, and there's the 510K track. So it's a process.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Frances Cohen. I'm with Promenade Software, president of Promenade Software.
So Frances, what is the biggest mistake you see companies when they're just starting out, startup companies? What's the biggest mistake in software development that they make?
I've seen a lot of companies lose focus and lose track of their main product, their minimal viable product. And that's key because you can't get out the door if you want everything. And if you keep adding features, it will delay you for no reason. So we always try to encourage our clients to stick with that minimal viable product. And it's very hard for them because they want a lot of software features and they think that, they want to compare themselves to some current apps or whatever, their model is. But keeping focus gets them out the door and gets them money quickly so they can make the next release. They need to understand that, especially with software, there can be next releases.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And also just once you have it out the door, you can start making revenue and you can always improve upon it.
Exactly. And surprisingly, it's hard to convince customers that they think they need this feature because they're in love with it, but it's not their minimal viable product. They don't need it, and letting go of that is hard for them.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Tom Hunter with Azure Group.
Matt Romney, also with Azure Group.
And then, so what do you see the biggest mistake that companies, when they're just starting out or if they're a startup company, what mistakes do you see them make?
So the mistakes that I see companies make in startup mode is you got maybe one or two people trying to do everything all at once, and they're not going outside to the actual experts or the consulting companies to maybe bring in a short-term resource to help them get to the next phase in the product development.
Yeah, I found that to be true as well, especially when the innovators who are the ones who are good at starting companies, but they're not necessarily the people that are required to bring the company across the finish line. You need to bring in the expertise in the medical device industry as far as operations and design to cross all the T's and dot all the I's and bring in the money. So that's CEO, contract manufacturers, consultants, and everybody with the expertise to help get across the finish line.
Steve Malish, Chief Commercial Officer of Fusion Biotech.
Len Brandt, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer of Brandt Ventures.
So we're here today at the Medical Device Investor Forum and just capturing some audio here. So Steve, what would you say is the biggest mistakes that you see startup companies make, or even before they're a company, that solo entrepreneur, that inventor pursuing their dream for a medical device?
Well, Megan, I'm glad you asked that. I just sat through a panel where they were talking about reimbursement and big data and getting onto the market. And a lot of companies don't think about the market and how they're going to get reimbursed and who's going to pay for their product. And I know it's complicated sometimes because there's multiple users and multiple purchasers, but it's something that every startup should start first with after they've got their idea.
That's good. And then Lynn, what about...
I want to answer that one.
Okay, answer this one.
You never let me have the easy questions. Okay, well, first of all, I want to disagree with Dr. Steve Malish because I'm told never to disagree with him, you get in trouble. And in fact, what he said is really the hottest topic is that you have to own the reimbursement question. That's the hottest topic, and I'd say in the last 5 years. But I also want to add a couple other thoughts. If you are starting a venture, it's always about money, and the key to money is always about three things. The first is management, really knowing what they're doing. Second one is management, really knowing a lot what they're doing and being credible. And the third one you could probably guess. So if you're not that solution, if that's just not you completely, like I've done this before, I've been through the drill, get a friend and have that friend work with you so that somehow there can be that sort of transfer that we don't have to learn everything the hard way, spend all our money trying to make something go and we can get. So that'd be my first point on the old school answer.
And Len has been known to be a friend.
Yeah.
A good friend at that.
Yeah. And I don't charge much for being a friend. And the second thing I want to say, this is really my best piece of advice that I have ever. I'm not kidding, ever.
Okay.
No matter what you're selling your opportunity to money. If you're selling your innovation to a doctor, if you're selling me a house, no matter what you're selling, and it's innovative, there's always going to be an explanation of what the heck it is, in which case I got to care. Now, the first point is you have to be credible before I will listen to what you say and believe you. So obviously you sell yourself first before you sell whatever you're selling. But here it is, the best piece of advice ever. And he's heard me say this once, maybe twice, maybe 45 times. Analogy. Get the analogy that makes it easy. If you say, look, this deal is very similar to this well-known deal everybody knows, innovated the crap out of something.
And pick something well-known, not something that's not well-known, or not something that's
work.
failing.
Yeah, the analogy's got to be legitimate, it's got to be real, and it's got to be an excellent one that goes, oh, so I do what that does, but I do it in this space. Oh, but I do that, but just like they did this, I did the next step. And everybody and it revolutionized the industry. So an analogy gets me into willing to go through the complications, and I know where I'm going. And I'll even answer that as if I was talking to my children, which is, fine, give me the long answer after you answer the question. I asked you this question, you gave me the answer, and now you explain why that's the answer. Great, and I can interrupt you, say, I don't want to hear that. But if you're just giving me a long story to get to the answer, I lose interest sometimes.
Yeah.
How about that for 10 minutes of a 5-second question?
Well, thank you so much.
My name's Robert Wynn with K&L Gates. I'm a patent attorney specializing in chemicals and pharmaceuticals and medical devices.
So, Robert, you must have a lot of startups come to you quite often. What's your best advice around IP for these startup companies?
File early and file as much as you can. Prior art pops up like crazy, and you want to be the first one out there with your idea.
So what about the fast track? What are your thoughts on that?
Fast track is great. It costs a little bit more money, but you definitely get results much more quickly.
And then what's a mistake that you see often? Maybe people come to you too late, or they should have done this, they should have done that.
Yeah, that's basically it. Coming too late or filing something early on, but not pursuing it and letting it die, and then thinking later, I want to go back and get that when it's too late. The opportunity is past.
Well, thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Sully. I'm the marketing director for OPTICAL Corporation in Irvine. We're a design and engineering firm.
So, Ron, I know you come across people with ideas that are wanting to turn those ideas into a product, and you work with a lot of startup companies. What is the best advice you can give someone when they're going through product development?
Megan, thanks for asking me that question. I get these calls all the time. Since I'm the one that answers the phone and vets most of the new prospects, the thing I'd like to see from people that call me is to have them be prepared. If they have a business plan, it gives them some direction and gives them a reason to call, and it gives me a good feeling about talking to someone who is earnest about what they're doing and is poised for success, not for failure. I'm always concerned that when the people call and they don't know enough about their product, for instance, they don't know how much it's going to sell for, haven't defined their customer base, they don't know who's going to sell it or distribute it. It's a yellow flag for me. It makes me feel that I'm dealing with someone that really hasn't done their homework before they've called me.
And what about projects that are going very well and they just soar through the processes? What's the difference? What's that measure of success that you could see?
The ones that go through the process easily are mostly commandeered by a really effective project manager on their part. If I can have access to a person that can answer questions in an expedient manner and is accessible when we need answers, it makes our job so much easier. People that are prepared and know the business and have developed products before knows that product development is not just a linear process. It's not something you expect to conveniently go from point A, B, C, D, E. Sometimes things are skipped, and sometimes we have to regroup and make some changes, but a good project manager really is the baseline for what we need if we want to work for someone for successful project development.
Well, thank you.
Albert Yi with Ceratasa.
Peymon Montazemi with Ceratasa.
So you guys are you're helping startup companies and entrepreneurs with Internet of Things for their medical devices. And that's a huge industry right now. I'm sure you see a lot of different companies doing lots of different amazing technology. So if you had one piece of advice for a startup company looking to get involved with Internet of Things with their device, what would it be?
So I would say it's managing expectations and not biting off more than you can chew. So the whole idea here is that people have big dreams and ideas, and they want to do everything all at once, not taking into consideration the time, the money, the resources that they have available to them right now. So our advice would be phasing it out and being very realistic in terms of what you can afford to do at what stage and how you're gonna fund this and launch the project, not just to product development and launch, but right through to customer acquisition or user acquisition.
Great. And then what's the biggest mistake that you see people make when they're in development?
Sure. The biggest mistake we see that people come to us, with an initial prototype of a proof of concept prototype that is typically, created using an Arduino kit or like one of these BeagleBones kits or even a Raspberry Pi. And most of startups do not realize that these are not cost-efficient solutions. So when you want to go actually to production, do mass production of 1,000 or 10,000 units for your first batch of orders, right there, the entire design and the business model completely collapses.
So getting them to realize, yeah, that's great for a prototype, but then we need to scale it, and that's not a scalable
solution.
Design.
Exactly.
Can I add to that?
Sure, Albert, go.
Yeah. And the other thing that we see with a lot of startups is that they have a great idea and they fund and pay for and build something, and then they go and talk to investors or other customers, and those customers or investors always have new ideas and new features and new functions, and they come back and say, okay, I gotta add this, and invariably what happens is you stray away very easily from the original intent and focus of what your product originally was meant to do, and it becomes a mishmash of just stuff. And I think that it burns a lot of money, it burns a lot of time, that's unnecessary. So staying focused and to the original vision and plan, and holding true to that course with maybe minor course corrections along the way, and knowing when and who to be influenced by, as opposed to reacting to every bit of advice that you hear from everywhere.
Right. So take the first product out with the minimum viable product out that will actually create returns, and phase out, as Albert was mentioning, the development of the product and create a bucket list of those features. Sure, we can implement them, but it's going to be in Rev 2, Rev 3, Rev 4, and plan out based on the return on investment that you have put, instead of trying to put all the features at one in the first product, because nobody does that in a professional world out there.
Yeah, and that's something that we've heard quite a bit in this conference. So thanks for reinforcing that.
Sure.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Hopefully you enjoyed that little audio roundup. And again, let me know if you like this format. I can always do it again. We did get some audio from lots of different people. I can always get it from different groups too. Maybe we want to do a regulatory roundup or a engineering roundup, whatever you guys want. Just let me know. And I'd love to see you in the beta program for Invention Idea to Profitable Product. Go check out that application, and I will catch you on the next episode. Imua.
Mahalo for joining us. If you're new to riding the waves of medical device product development, or if you've been in development for a while already, Inspired by Imua is here to surf with you. Want to be a master of the waves? Text HANG10, that's HANGTEN, to 44222. We'll send you the most common wipeouts companies make in product development so you can avoid them and reach master wave status. Again, that's HANG10 to 44222. We publish a new episode every Tuesday, so catch us at inspiredbyimua.com. Imua!